With a show of hands, how many of you have started your own business or are planning to do it? Quite a journey, huh? Well, that has been my biggest dream. My entire life, I've been dreaming of starting my own company. And 3 years ago, I did it. I decided to chase my dream. And chasing my dream not only helped me understand the challenges that we're facing, but also figure out how to deal with them. Not only I got to understand more about how to build a startup, how to build a company, but I got to know more about myself. After 3 years of ups and downs, and when I say down, I mean devastating days where you actually rethink the whole thing. After 3 years, a small idea turned into a promising personal finance tool which intends to change the way that companies and consumers interact. Thankfully, we are now funded and we are set to launch later this year. It has been the journey itself that has had a tremendous impact in my life. I realized that entrepreneurship is not just a cool thing to do or a hip thing to do, nor is it just a reason to get out of college. We have a tremendous innovation problem that can only be solved through startups. And the reason why it can only be solved through startups is because, given their size, the cost of failing are much lower. And second, because everyone behind that team, behind that mission, shares the same mindset. Why do I say that we have an innovation problem? Well, for 200 years, up to the 1970s, the world saw tremendous technological innovation. The Industrial Revolution changed the way that people lived and made money. It was amazing. We got cars, the telephone, the first airplane, television. There was nothing like it. Unfortunately, that rapid progress has slowed down. For the common man, like you and me, the gap between productivity and median wages and salaries has been growing wider and wider for the past 30 years. What this means is that every day we have been working harder and harder just to stay in the same place. I'll repeat that. Every day for the past 30 years, we have been working harder and harder just to stay in the same place. So what do? We have two options. Either we keep doing the same things, we keep copying what has worked, replicating business models, or we start doing new things. We start innovating. We start finding new solutions to old problems. We start acting like entrepreneurs. If we keep copying the same things, we are headed to a dead end. So what do? How do we build those startups that we need? We must do three things. Number one, we must figure out our life plan. What's our big plan? What do we want to do? What do we want? Number two, we must understand what's valuable. What do people want? Number three, we must never, ever forget why we are doing this. To figure out number one, to figure out your life plan, we must understand that life is a journey to figure out who we are and what our purpose is. What bothers you? What makes you happy? What type of person spouse, brother, sister, entrepreneur do you want to be? When you answer these questions, everything else adds up. Figure out what are your strengths, your weaknesses. Work on them. Your passion will be transmitted to investors, teammates, and clients. You are the product. You are the product. So number 2, to find out what's valuable, we must research. Study people, how they act, what do they do. Hang out with people whose opinion we don't share because they too can be our future clients. We must look at the bigger picture. What's valuable? What do people value? For instance, in the past decades, we have been told by companies what to buy. Okay, so business was only done by companies. We are now in an era where the internet has empowered us all to put up a blog, make our own business, and get directly to consumers. So given this constant interaction, the collection of knowledge has gained even more importance. Knowledge is like the new oil. But all of this mass production from the 50s, this productivity from the 70s, and this empowerment from the 21st century is a kindly reminder that just as we can create and produce, we can also destroy. What are the business of the future? We are heading into an era of productivity. Our doing business must imply taking into account the main pillars of our evolution: nature, ethical exchange, respect. There are many things that we're leaving behind. The business of tomorrow are going to need to take into account everyone, all of the stakeholders, not just the shareholders. We are heading into an era where value is not going to be just a higher return than expected. It's going to be a meaningful exchange. Understanding these trends is really hard to overstate. No one knew they wanted an iPad. No one knew they wanted a car. But the entrepreneurs behind this got to understand what was the trends behind these creations and behind their market, and got to deliver that before the consumer even knew it. We need to understand what's valuable. The third thing, always remember why you're doing this. You will get shut down. Investors will say no. Most investors will say no. Your friends will not care. But most importantly, good days will be amazing, but bad days, they're going to be devastating. That's why it is important for you to keep in mind, why are you doing this? What's the vision behind what you're doing? Your mission is bigger than anything that could come in the way. Never quit. Never quit. Never stop. Keep going. So you must understand what you want, what people want, and why you want this. The beauty of TED, the beauty of spreading ideas, is when two ideas get together and create something powerful. Chasing my dream not only helped me create my own recipe, but it also got me here, where my idea can join yours and create something bigger than the sum of our parts. Of course, there's a problem. We have heard this before. They told us we cannot do this, they have told us to stop dreaming. In fact, I recently read an article where the author called us, my generation, the Gen Ys, he said we were delusional because we thought we were special. I don't think we are all special or that we are special, but I think that we have everything we need to be and to do special and remarkable things. Thankfully, I am not the only one who thinks this. History favors dreamers. Take Dominican Republic, for example. 1844, a group of young men dreamed of proclaiming their country's independence. And they did. 1865, something went wrong, and a group of men decided to do it again. And they did. 1961, a group of patriots dreamed of overthrowing the worst dictatorship in recent times. And they did. 2013, who's up? Now it's our turn to decide. We must decide what will be our place in history. How are we going to change the world? Keep in mind that the only reason why we can freely make these decisions is because those men and women decided to change their world. Thank you so much.